This notion of moving from invitation to welcome to dancing together took me back to my youth. The memory of attending middle school dances where the boys, right? Where the boys congregated on one side of the gym and the girls stood on the other. The boys bolstering their courage to ask a girl to dance. Yes, that is how it was done in those days. And the girls hoped that they would be asked to dance by praying that it would be by one of the cute ones. We were all fidgeting, our palms sweating, the cliques whispering and laughing together, and eyes wandering over the possibilities. The music started, and many of us were left on the sidelines, wondering what is wrong with me that we weren't a prized dance partner. Why is this topic of invitation stirring up all my insecurities from so many years ago about being left out? While I have less anxiety about being left on the sidelines, there are times that I still feel that I don't quite belong. Many of you here today may share the same unease. In a recent interview, Yo-Yo Ma, the world-renowned cellist, described how he has always felt like an outsider. Born to and partially raised by Chinese parents in Paris, Ma was a child prodigy. The family moved to New York City when Ma was 7. He has performed throughout the world, receiving numerous awards and honors. And yet, he still feels like he doesn't belong. When you feel like you are an outsider looking in, your life suffers, and you question your value. Daniel Hoffman and Lonnie Collins Pratt tells us, when we speak of hospitality, we are always addressing issues of inclusion and exclusion. Issues of inclusion and exclusion, while personal, are not just personal. Our entire culture excludes many people. If you are in a wheelchair, for example, you are excluded because there are places you cannot go. If you are very young, if you are very old, you are excluded. Hospitality has an inescapable moral dimension to it. It is an issue involving what it means to be human. All of our talk about hospitable openness doesn't mean anything as long as some people continue to be tossed aside. Suzanne highlighted how important acts of welcome and invitations are within our personal lives and to our congregational vision of creating a welcoming, diverse, and vibrant community. How will UUSM fulfill its intention to be a more inclusive, hospitable congregation? How do we move from welcoming to fully accepting those who feel they don't fit in here? How do we integrate another's unique knowledge, perspective, talents, and customs into the fabric of our congregation? For the most part, we at UUSM are a group of like-minded people with similar values, backgrounds, and worldviews. It is human nature to gravitate to those who look like us, act like us, think like us, sound like us, to fill our world with people we trust. However, it is important to keep in mind when talking about like-mindedness and demographic similarities that we understand that many differences do exist here at UUSM. These differences are not always accepted wholeheartedly by others, and people will sometimes hide those parts of themselves that they feel aren't welcome. The dilemma we are faced with today is how do we move from an inward-looking congregation to a group more accepting of those who look at the world differently? Do you remember a time when you felt really included? What helped you feel that way? What can we do at UUSM to have others feel that kind of welcome? Yet, always remembering that what makes one person feel welcome doesn't always make another person feel welcome. Responsibility for changing this culture lies not only with one individual or a core group of leaders, but with all of us. Research out of the University of Kansas provides us with hope as we look for answers. They said, "We know that people pick similar people at first, but if you go out of your way, you can find excellent friends and meaningful relationships with people who are different." Verna Myers, diversity consultant and author, tells us that to become more welcoming and accepting, we must reflect on our own experiences and behaviors. What words and actions helped us feel more included? Small things matter, like offering a greeting, remembering another's name, recognizing meaningful dates, showing interest, and asking questions. Language counts. Is our own behavior or words off-putting to others? What are the nonverbal cues we are sending? Be mindful of those who are being excluded from invitations, decision-making, projects, and opportunities. Let's notice whose opinions are not being heard. Let's commit to developing new ways in which the newcomer and the quieter voices are lifted up. Let's weave new ideas, new traditions, and new practices into our activities and ways of doing. Let's, in Myers' words, build relationships across differences. Get closer. Get uncomfortable. Now let's return to the dancing as a metaphor for inclusion. There is danger in asking someone to dance, and there is great risk in saying yes. But with this gamble comes the promise of a more vibrant and open relationship, a stronger community. Let's accept the invitation to keep expanding our circle of care and concern. We have so little to lose and so much to gain. May it be so.